Okay, I'm going to be putting this together without clamps. I don't have any. So I'm going to be turning on and off the video as I get things ready. Reading the instructions right now. Got everything laid out and prepared. Working on my dining room table so I don't have to bend over as much. Okay, I've gone through all the pieces and parts, and I believe I've got everything laid out. I've got 2 brood boxes and 1 FlowHive box I'll be assembling today. One point of note, that the flow frame has this additional piece on the side where the brood boxes do not. So you got the handle, and we look back here, and this is here and not located here. That's the same way with the other side as well. So these would, that's the handle side and the handle side, so these would go like so, and they have that end piece here, and the brood boxes do not have that piece there. And I apologize, I am a little hoarse right now. All of a sudden I realize, first time I'm talking today, and must be coming down with something. Left work early, very few people at work, being between New Year's and Christmas. So here we go. Okay, it required me getting on the floor and to bang it to put it together. So I've got it together. Now I'm going to take it apart and put glue on it, and then screw it together. But I think I've got it correct. I hope I do. Everything's flush here like it should be. Flush across the bottom. Handles are on the outside all the way around. I got my square there to make sure it's square before I start screwing. It looks like I'm in place. I might go ahead and put the other boxes, matter of fact I know I will. I'm going to put all the other boxes together and then take them apart and put them back together with glue and screws. Okay, my next box. Everything is snug, tight, does not appear any gaps anywhere. And again, let's see. And this one fits a little looser than the other one. See if there's any colors. I'm going to be very picky here with myself. See if there's any colors that I want to change up between the boxes. To see if they all look well, you know, the different tongue and pieces work well with each other. This is real light, that's dark. I may reverse this one, this bottom one down here. If you see here. Then again, you know, variety is a good thing. Yeah, I think it's good like it is. Okay, so that's these 2. Now let's work on the flow frame body itself. Put all the pieces out here like they should be, laying out. That's the smooth side, rough side. So my assumption is that goes there like that. These are the screws, so this goes this way. I think we will take a look. Yes, because the screw gets embedded deep, and the knob is on that side, and the screw holes go all the way through. On this, I assume the rough side is the inside. That's the inside. That's rough. That's smooth. And then this is the back side, and then the frame body. Now, here are the two pieces as I was describing earlier. Now, I am not going to be putting the plastic piece in just yet, because I'm going to have the whole thing dipped in hot wax, as opposed to sealing it. And see, that is already a little, I'm going to have to sand this down a little bit in order to get it in there anyway. You can see maybe here it's a bit too big lengthwise and a bit too big widthwise, so not a big deal. It's just plastic. I could always buy another one anyway. Well, anyway, I might have had it on the wrong side. It looks like I did. I certainly did. It fits perfectly. So I'm glad I'm laying this out. This piece is the piece that goes on this side, and it fits nice and smoothly. So I don't have to do anything with the plastic. It fits perfectly. So yeah, it's all part of putting it together. I'm taking my time, and since this is a total new hobby for me, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So the handles are all on the top side. That's going to be the top side and top side. Okay. Okay, this being the FlowHive and has a lot more pieces to it, such as all these. It's fitting a little looser together, which is fine. I'm glad I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, to get it so you can see it's the squareness of it. But it will definitely, I'll have to pay attention on how I'm putting it together. So I'm going to rotate this around. And then this is where the metal piece actually goes this way, because it's got indentation right there. I don't know if you can see it. But that'll go right here to provide that support across here. And it looks like I got it on backwards, because you see, I'm glad I'm doing it this way. See, this is indented here and that's smooth here. So I've got these two pieces on backwards. So I'm going to take this back around. And I wouldn't know that except for, I think Val in UK made comment about it on somebody else's box. She has a good eye on how things go together. So this is a good way I'm doing it. And so this goes on this end. Handle, here we go. Let's rotate that around. And screws inside. Here we go, like this. And that screw out here to top piece here, smooth outside. And then again, we rotate this upside down. This has a slight beveled indent to it, beveled indent, and this here will fit there. It might have been helpful if they had pre-drilled, like they had done all the other pieces, such as here, some screws here just to help draw your attention, if nothing else, to the fact that this required screws. Now, I can tell you right now, looking at here, that I need to carve that out where that piece of wood is. You can see this one is not flush all the way to the top. This one's flush, that's flush, but that one's not either. So I need to carve that down a little bit in order to allow this to sit flush all the way back. I'll get my X-Acto blade out or my carpet knife out and chisel that out. So I got my carving knife or my carpet knife out, and I was able to just trim that little piece right here off nice and smooth. And now this, fits nice and smooth across there. There's no bump now anymore, and it's flush here. So that's all good. So it looks like I've got all the boxes put together, minus the screws and everything else. But let's take a look. So we've got the 2 brood boxes, and I've got the flow box here on top. So I'm going to pull the camera back so we see. They all look like they work well. Okay, now to take them apart, put glue on them, and put screws in them. So as a point, I got a bag. This bag contained all the hardware, the non-wood pieces, but it also included this piece, the knobs, and the view window turning things. What was cool is roof screws, FlowHive screws, and brood box screws. So this is nice that they've got everything labeled. You shouldn't, I know people will, and I know I will make mistakes, but this helps. And then I guess these are the nails. They're not labeled, but I guess these are the nails for the frames that I'll put together later. This is the, I guess, the piece that the wax bees put the wax to. And these are the pieces for the sides of it. So again, I'm very new at this, so please be kind when making comment about my language or certain things. I'm not calling things correctly. Okay, getting glue on everything and all the joints was more difficult than I had thought about. And not getting it on my dining room table is another big thing. I'm glad I put towels down, but even the towels, I've got glue on them. Luckily the glue is somewhat water soluble until it dries hard, at least according to the instructions. So I will soak these towels as soon as, and luckily they're trash towels. be good. Looks like all the joints are tight. So I'll screw this together. So I've got my square on here, make sure everything is square before I start screwing. And we'll go to town. Looks like square. I'm going to get this other one in over here. Okay, looks like we're ready to go to town with more of these. I'm going to get a couple of sides done, a couple on each side, and then do the main box. Hope I didn't damage my light fixture. Nope. One thing I didn't realize is, I know it's soft wood, but I don't want to bury these screws too deep. Don't want it to splinter or anything. And just surprised how soft the wood really is. It's nice. one box down. I'm amazed at how many screws actually go in this darn thing. Just a wooden box, but between the dowel or the grooves or whatever you call these things, and all the screws, this box is not going anywhere, and it's good. The glue oozed out around the sides a little bit, which says I got a good spratting of good glue, even though I didn't put that much glue on here, which I was happy about. So, and it's definitely square. I got my square out and checked out all the sides and made sure it was good and square. It wasn't racked anywhere, because it's going to matter when the other pieces go on top and the roof goes on, and especially when the frames go in place. So I'll start the next one. Okay, my two boxes are right there, stacked nicely on top of each other. Now to start the Flow Super. I think that's what it's called. So here's the box, and get the screws out for it, and open it up. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be using my teeth. So very nice screws, nice heads. They don't strip, or at least I haven't had them strip yet. Now this one has additional different types of screws, I assume, for the door or the handle. And looking here at the instructions. So yeah, some of the flat heads go at different places. I'm gonna put the body together, and then I'm gonna worry about the view window and this piece here after I get the view window on, or get the box put together. So this is everything that gets screwed and glued together. These pieces here all go on separately, just as with you know, just fixed in place or snug in place. So I'll take this apart, put glue on it, and then put it together. So here, move this piece here. Keep that tight. Get my glue on all this, and we'll go to town. So this is everything that gets screwed and glued together. These pieces here all go on separately, just as with you know, just fixed in place or snug in place. So I'll take this apart, put glue on it, and then put it together. So here, move this piece here. Tight. Get my glue on all this, and we'll go to town. Okay, I want to say I almost messed up. I almost started putting glue on this side and realized, luckily, the only place I put glue was on this piece that's fixed. I didn't put any glue here because this piece here is this what resides in here, and it needs to be able to come off smoothly and easily. So that doesn't get any screws. So luckily I did not put any glue on that side there. I only got glue here. And so we'll put this together, slide this in place, and slide this right there like so, and like so. And then wipe up any excessive glue. more water. Sponge. Now for the other side. And let's not mess up like I thought I was messing up on the other one. Okay, it's all there. So this is the only side that gets glued. This side does not. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here on what I've done. Is I've laid out all the screws just as they've said, and there's exactly the same right number. So there's 3 of these, 3 hinges, 7 of these, and 4 of those. What I'm trying to figure out is what screw goes in the metal piece here. I think I'll figure it out, but it's a matter of counting them and seeing which one it is. See, if you read here, it says affix metal strip and, oh, metal strip. So there it is, the 7. Perfect. Nice instructions. Okay, I just got ready to start screwing or putting these in here once I figured out the screw. But what I realized, I'll put this away for a second. What I realized is when I started, pushing it in, there's a lot of flexibility in that top piece, and didn't want to get it too tight. So what I decided to do was take this box here, lay it on top here, and bring this in. When I put the other screw in, I can put one side in easily, but then when I bring it in, the other one, make sure it's exactly where it is, so it's not too tight or too loose, so they all line up, since there is some flexibility in this. Make sure the boxes are fine, and then when I push in, the metal is exactly on the outside, and that's what I was looking for. Is the metal just a little too long or a little too short? But it's exactly where it needs to be, so that'll tell me how I need to screw it. Okay, to re-explain what I was just talking about is I've screwed this side in and it's flush here. And as we can see on this side has a little gap. Let it get in focus. Has a little gap here. But what I've determined is with the other box laying it on top, this needs to be pulled in slightly. So that told me exactly where it needed to be, and that's what I was trying to determine just a few moments ago. Okay, now the pieces are in place. So, removable panel here should go nicely right here. And looks like I got it too tight. God damn it. Exactly what I was trying not to achieve. We got it on camera too. Okay, in order to get this metal strip on exactly where it needs to be, I put on this piece here, and it's a snug fit, so it may need to get sanded down ever so slightly. It is a snug fit. I don't like how snug that is. That is too snug for me, but I'll let it be for now. I probably have screwed something up, but we'll see. This is the top piece. Smooth, flush. This is the top piece here. Get all the handles and such. Okay, now to start putting the handles on it. Okay, before I start sanding any of this down or doing anything else to it, I'm going to want feedback. That's just too tight for me. It just goes way too tight, and it may be fine, but I'll put the handles on it and we'll see. It just may need to get worked enough, but it just seems like it's way too tight. But right now, you can see it's metal's flush here. On this side, it sticks out a little bit, and when I lay the boxes on top of each other, this one is slightly a fraction, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, not even that, bigger than the brood boxes that sit below. So we'll see. I'll look for comments. Well, one thing I want to say, I can forgive a lot of big detail stuff, but they've got it right in so many different ways. You know, I kept on saying rough side that goes in, smooth side goes out when I was talking earlier about the piece that goes here on top. But as I was doing this, I realized you can't really see it, but that right there is slightly beveled out so that this screw will fit flush inside. So this really tells me that this is the side it goes on. This side is smooth. This is slightly recessed, similar to, you know, other things that are recessed around, so that it just works better. And just thoroughly impressed with the toolmanship of how this is all goes together. I put a little glue on the back side of the knobs just to help them adhere better to the wood, as well as when I screw it in, it'll hold it in place and not twist over time. So glue. So it just, everything about this is going together nicely. I am thoroughly impressed. Okay, I just got through making that comment about how impressed, But I mean, look at this. This is not supposed to fall out. But there is no pieces really. I know I'm going to be putting the little screws there to hold it in place, but watch. I want you to see this. So I get it close and it just falls in place. And it just meant to, the amount of detail they've put into this is really phenomenal. And I know I'm overly praising things, but these will go here on the side, helping keeping it shut. I don't know how many people have ever put together an IKEA product, but IKEA stuff is virtually idiot proof if I'm able to put a lot of their stuff together. I mean, look at this. So this screw is definitely a wood screw that digs into something. Spring is bigger at one end, smaller on the other. Here it is, it fits nicely right in there, and the screw fits on top and goes through, and then this just lines up with a hole that they've already got pre-drilled, and it just goes in. So hats off to Be Thinking or FlowHive group, or both, or just some of the engineering that they've come up with. And it only goes down so far, and it rotates. I'm gonna back it out slightly. So I probably just put it a little too hard. I don't want it to be hard to turn. And then the door goes on, and they shut. So there's the front, and fits nicely. So I'm not going to pull on it yet because it's still, I think, too tight. So now to put the roof on, but I'm going to set this over here out of the way. All lined up nicely now. And by the way, the bottom board, so see what we got here. Bottom board and the screen piece for the mites or the insulation landing strip, all nicely made. It's getting dark now. It's already overcast here in Dallas. We've had a lot of rain yesterday and today. We had tornadoes in the area last night and the night before, so luckily I wasn't affected by any of them. Again, bear with me. I'm not sure if I know what I'm doing here. I'm sure somebody will point out everything I've done incorrectly or need to learn from. But there's all the pieces, and there's the plastic queen excluder and the top piece. Now to build the roof. Oh, I got those 4 screws. What were those 4 screws for? Oh, that's the plastic window, which I'm not going to put in right now because I'm going to have all the wood pieces dipped in hot wax to protect it. Okay, looking at all my wood here, what wood goes best with each piece. This is the darker of the bunch. and a little rougher, so I may sand this one down later because the rest of them are really smooth and light. This is the only one that's a little darker, but that's wood. I already gone through it and think these two work best together, and those two work best together because they're already, grooved here, so they're going to go together a certain way, like this. So looking at the groove, and that'll be the top and bottom. So I think that's the best way for them to go. And such like that. So, and this will be the top ridge piece. So that goes good color-wise there. And I might switch these two around, yeah. So I think that's the best color scheme right there. And then we have the two sideboards. Does it matter which one's which? Actually, I think it goes better that way, just like I had it. And then the frame, I don't think it matters on how we put those together, which end they go on as it relates to this. I think these are exactly the same, each end. Yeah, it looks like it. But I'll get it together and we'll find out. Okay, I wanted to quickly talk about something I saw or was posting this morning on the forum, on the FlowHive forum. So here is, but these are both the same box, the bottom brood box. I happen to be able to get two of them, and exactly the same box. 8 frame, but as you can see there's 9 frames in here. They fit snug. Actually there's even a little room, if you go tight here, you can see that it shifts over. But it goes from, touching the frames, and I'm totally new at this, so what it just seemed odd is 9 frames will fit in here, but this is an 8 frame box. So taking a frame out, it fit, it's just perfectly in there. I don't have to wedge it in there or anything. So with 2 8 frame boxes, this is what you would have. I don't understand how to space it. So what somebody said is you would just, work it out. And I'm just looking for what that spacing should be in between these. It just doesn't seem right that we've thought everything else through and we don't have seems like this would be just wide enough to help provide the spacing that would be required in between each one. So it just seems odd to me. So that was the question I had this morning, and a few others have posted. And I guess it just works itself out. The other question I had was potentially cutting out a view window in here and a view window in here so that I can observe the bees occasionally without opening up the entire box. Sit in the side yard as a new beekeeper and just gawk at them. But here's my setup. Let me pull the camera back, and I'm going to put everything up here on the table. I had it on the floor earlier, but I have better light today, so that's why I'm going to set it up here on the table and then go edit the video. So there she is, all put together. And let me raise this up. So, door, pull the piece out. Top comes off. You got the top cover. Fits nicely. And what I didn't do with y'all just now is pull this off. This is a bit snug. I'm gonna feel like I need to sand it down in order to be able to get it out on a regular basis. So actually that way fits better for both the top and bottom to come out. Whatever, rotating it this way, you can see opened up there, but it still closes off. So my only way to open it up here, but this is a bit snug and I feel like I need to sand this piece here that pulls out in order for it to slide in and out a bit easier.